Welcome to Ed Fluential Sports, where passion meets precision. As I'm your host, Ed, diving deep into the plays, players, and stories shaping the game. This is Sports Fanatic Forum, episode 15. I'm going to start a bit different. I usually start, the hot take of the week is usually the third segment I do on the Tuesday episodes of the podcast, but I'm going to start with the hot take of the week because I like this one. I think the last few hot takes I've been getting been really good. Said justice for Ant-Man, maybe, yeah, and nah, we'll see. Now, Anthony Edwards is nice. I'll address him. And so the hot take I got was from Dave um, from Wrestling with Things. I don't know why I paused there. But the hot take of the week I got was from Dave from Wrestling with Things. He said that Victor Wembanyama is the best player in the NBA already. Interesting hot take. And I like it. I spoke on Wemby 2 or 3 weeks ago when I did my MVP rankings. I had Wemby second behind Shea. Then I had K third, I think. But yeah, I still got Shea first, and I had Wemby second in the MVP race. So I don't think it's a crazy take to say Wemby is the best in the NBA. I think it's still one thing he hasn't done yet, which I'll address. But talk about the positives with Wemby. He's in his third year so far, already a two-time All-Star, one Rookie of the Year, All Defensive Team rookie season. He finished second in defense player of the year in his rookie season, despite the Spurs barely winning any games. Like that Spurs team sucked his first year, but the NBA couldn't deny his defensive impact, and obviously he finished second. And obviously it's hard to win DPOY when your team is struggling like that in his rookie season. But his impact was undeniable that he finished second in DPOY his rookie season, despite the Spurs winning 20-something games. So that's just how great of a defender that Wemby is. This season, averaging 24 points per game, 11 rebounds per game, 2.9 assists per game, a steal per game, and 2.9 blocks per game, which is leading the league in blocks per game, 50, 34, 81 splits so far this season. This is the third straight year in a row he's led the league in blocks per game. He did it technically. I don't know if last year counts because of his injury or because it's blood clot, so I don't know if last year counts. But he would have qualified, if he did play enough games, he would have qualified and led the league last year as well. But I think with Wemby this season, he's been great. He's taking less threes per game, which is amazing to see. He was taking like 8 threes per game last year, which that's really unnecessary. I feel like he settled a lot last year, and then he's back to 5 per game, which is what he was taking in his rookie season. So I think that's been great. He's amazing defensively. We already know that. He's already shown he's one of the best, if not the best defender in the league. Even the DPOY race, in my opinion, I got him top. I got him leading the DPOY race now. I had Scotty Barnes a few weeks ago. I think Wemby has leaped him for now, but I got Wemby 1, Scotty Barnes 2 for Defense Player of the Year. Then I still got Wemby second in the MVP race. They won a few games without him. Cool, who cares? They got a 70 whatever win percentage. OKC has won without Shea. Denver's won without Jokic. MVP is not determined by how many games your team wins without you. That's a really stupid narrative. But back to Wemby, I like that he's taking less threes per game because he's not settling as much as he did last year. Like I said, amazing defensively. That's something we've already covered. He's consistent. I don't know what Gilbert Arenas was talking about, saying he's not consistent. He's giving you 24 a night, giving you great defense on a nightly basis. So I don't know what Gilbert Arenas was talking about, saying that he's not consistent. And then the games that he came off the bench when he was coming back from injury, he was still the Spurs' best player. He was still their best defender while coming off the bench. He was wondering if he could win Sixth Man of the Year with how well he was playing off the bench. Obviously, we know that wasn't going to last all season. That'd be really stupid to keep him on the bench. But when he came off the bench, when he was first coming back from his injury, he played really well. He was still super impactful. It didn't look like the injury held him back. It didn't look like the limited minutes held him back. He was still him coming off the bench and playing great. And so Wemby, as far as him being the best player in the league, let's just compare him to the other players before. Let's compare him to Shea. Like I said, I still got Shea first in MVP. He's still playing amazing compared to what he did last season, though he's been injured. But like I said, your argument for MVP can't be OKC wins without Shea. We've seen Denver win without Jokic, seen the Lakers win a few games without Luka, seen a lot of these teams have won without their best players. Doesn't mean the team is better when they don't play. And so those games are significantly different. They're played differently. The teams might not be the best teams on the schedule, so it all comes down to circumstance. But when you compare a Wemby to a Jokic, It's like we know how amazing Jokic is offensively. One of the best offensive players of all time. The best playmaking big in the league easily. So obviously Jokic has that over Wemby. Still got the scoring over him, but Wemby is still a monster on offense. It's hard to stop him. The one time or two times I've seen Wemby get stopped. One was by Draymond Green, who's one of the most experienced defenders in the NBA. Like that's the one time I've seen Wemby get slowed down. And against the Suns with Mark Williams, Dylan Brooks, like that Suns team is really good defensively when healthy, so they were able to slow him down for a couple of games as well. But when you talk about defense, Jokic's defense is average. It's not bad. I think it's improved over the years, but Wemby is still a significantly better defender. And then Jokic, the only thing with Wemby is he don't have a playoff run yet. I think when you compare Wemby to a guy like Luka, it's hard to compare point guards and centers, but because they have different roles. But even Wemby, obviously his playmaking is nowhere near a Luka or a Jokic. But you don't expect that out of a Wemby, honestly. You don't expect him to be leading the team in assists because he don't need to do that. He's already leading them in points, rebounds, and blocks. So it's like if he was to lead them in assists, that'd be like, damn, what happened to De'Aaron Fox? Like that's what that would be. But Wemby, does he have a case for the best player in the league? I think he has a case for MVP this season. The only reason why I disagree with the hot take of him being the best player in the NBA is because I haven't seen a playoff run yet. I think three seasons in, obviously the Spurs are going to be in the playoffs, likely to finish as the second seed, but they do have a chance to surpass OKC. Yeah, Shea is back now, but I think they won their last game. But OKC, the Spurs. The Spurs had the advantage over OKC. They beat them 4 times out of 5 games, which I don't know in season tournament. But when the Spurs could get the first seed, I think that would be great for them. But I think OKC finishes as the first seed. But for me to say Wemby is the best player, I got to see a playoff run first. Even if he loses, in the first round, it's all about how he performs. If they lose because Devin Vassell went 5 for 18 in the elimination game, and Wemby had 33 points and 12 rebounds, can't blame that on Wemby. But I want to see how Wemby himself performs in a playoff series and because obviously teams going to play a factor as well. Matchup is going to play a factor depending on who gets that 7th seed in a playoff series, which I'm going to pull up the standings now because I don't know who the 7th seed is. And then obviously you got to play in too, so the 7th seed could change, which I really hate the idea to play in. It's really stupid. The Suns are the 7th seed. And they got injuries right now. I know the Suns. Yeah, I would take the Spurs over the Suns in the first round series. I spoke on that before. I think it'd be competitive if the Suns are fully healthy, but I would still take the Spurs with them having home court. Mark Williams, he does do a solid job against Wemby, but I think Wemby could have just come playoff time. Let's just say the Suns and Warriors swap places. I think the Spurs might have a harder time with that, like I said. But with Steph being injured, he's out for about 10 more days at least. And then you got the Clippers and the Blazers. Blazers, he had picked them apart. Clippers, they don't got Zubac anymore. So then you're just going to rely on Brook Lopez. So those are some of the potential matchups. I'm taking the Spurs in all 4 of those. I think the Warriors would only get them trouble because Draymond matches well with Wemby because of his veteran experience. But yeah, Wemby, I got to see him in a playoff series first to say if he's truly the best player in the league. It's not a bad take. It's not a bad take at all. I just think to put that title on the Wemby, we got to see how he performs in a playoff series first. If he goes to the playoffs, averages a 30 points, 10 rebounds, 3 blocks, just doing his regular stuff with just a few more points per game, I think then I think it's a valid argument. But if he goes there and pulls a Jalen Green had a great regular season, and then he just flopped in the playoffs last year, I was like, yeah, he's still in the top. He's still playing the top, and I don't think he would flop to that extent that Jalen Green did. But I'm just using him as an example. It really depends on how Wemby plays in a playoff series before I can say if Wemby is the best player in the league. I think he has an argument if his first playoff series / run goes well. But for now, I'm gonna disagree. But we can revisit this when the playoffs come around and after the Spurs either get eliminated or win a championship. We'll see what happens. But with that being said, I'm gonna talk. Let's talk about Monday Night Raw from last night. I give it a 5 out of 10. Uh, Gunther and Dragon Lee, entertaining match. I enjoyed it. I thought this feud was really good for Gunther. I still think he should have won the Rumble and went after Drew for the WWE Championship. It is what it is. But Gunther and Dragon Lee, they put on an entertaining match. I enjoyed it. Dragon Lee got some solid offense in. Usually, this has been a 50-50 match I was cool with because it's history there. Dragon Lee had a reason to want to attack Gunther. Gunther ended up getting the win. Good win for Gunther. They just got to capitalize off the momentum because what's next for the both of them? Obviously, he unmasked them, but he didn't really like he kept the sleeper hold in a little longer past the bell, but it wasn't nothing egregious to where a bunch of security guards came out. So what's truly next for Gunther? Maybe him and Brock at Mania with Brock doing the open challenge, but I don't see that being the case with LA Knight kidnapping Paul Heyman. So I think LA Knight and Brock gets the match, which I'll talk about. Yeah, I talked about LA Knight in one of my shorts. So AJ Lee, her backstage segment was funny to me with the Kairi Sane thing. With Kairi Sane and Asuka, I feel like the Kabuki Warriors have been super entertaining with their toxic relationship. Then AJ Lee, the woman who loves mental health, trying to help Kairi Sane. That was cool, but then the promo she cut following that, I was like, okay, this is hella trash. She cut a promo, basically the same thing that CM Punk did when he won the title, saying that I want to beat everybody, I'm willing to take on anybody, and then nobody comes out there to interrupt. Like, you got people backstage talking about the championship, but if y'all want the championship, why not go to the ring and approach her about it? Becky doesn't show up. If this whole Becky thing doesn't pay off for the Jessica Carr match, then it was pointless. Because I don't get the point of her. You keep doing this thing with Jessica Carr and Becky Lynch where she loses all these matches. It's like the Chris Paul and Scott Foster thing. Like, have it pay off in a match. You don't even got to be at WrestleMania because they don't need a WrestleMania spot. But if you did that the Raw before WrestleMania, that'd be a cool match that fans are invested in. And you can build up the hype for that entire week of WrestleMania. That Raw before, the SmackDown before, you got to have some You're going to have some matches there too. I would assume obviously AJ Lee, she's going to get a Mania spot. And Becky, it would suck for her to miss Mania with her being on the commercial, so I guess it could be a Mania match, but it'd just be something cool to have if you had that special moment, the Raw before WrestleMania, Jessica Carr get a little bit of offense in, have Becky get the win, because they got to pay off with Becky and Jessica Carr in a match. But AJ Lee cutting the same promo that her husband did and still claiming a hometown that she's not from. She didn't even grow up. She didn't even grow up in Chicago. But I don't want to beat everyone. Like, who is everyone? Who is challenging for the title? We know they put a gauntlet match together, but none of these women came out to say anything to AJ Lee after saying that. Okay, that makes a lot of sense to me. Liv Morgan, I enjoyed her promo. The backstage promo she had was really intense. Calling out Stephanie, like, why should I feel bad for having the best trainers in the world? It's nothing I can do about that. You weren't blessed to have that. It's nothing I can do about that. I don't know why you're complaining to me about it. And I made the most of it. It's not like Liv had to fight and earn what she got at this point. Like, when the Rod Squad got released, she could have easily been a part of that, but she wasn't. So they allowed her to cash in on Ronda Rousey, and they didn't just pick anybody to beat Ronda Rousey. So Liv Morgan, I enjoyed that promo, but I do wonder where Stephanie was at. Like, she didn't even have to be involved in that segment, but she wasn't nowhere on the show. That feels kind of weird to me. Following Elimination Chamber, you obviously set your Mania match with Jade and Rhea. Obviously, Stephanie and Liv was set before that. If Stephanie's nowhere on the show, not even in the ring to have some squash match against a random jobber, you didn't even have Stephanie to do something like that. That's what's throwing me off. Like, Stephanie should have been on the show. Even if it was like a 5-minute match against some random, or even Ivy Now. If Ivy Now would have got beaten like a 5-minute match, I would have been fine with it. Because I would have got to see Ivy Now on my TV. I would have been like, oh, cool, she got a match with the champion. Or maybe you got 30 extra minutes to use. The show went off at 10:30 Eastern. You could have made that like an 8-minute match and then have a reason for Ivy Now to be in the IC Championship with contenders match next week. She gave Stephanie a competitive battle. She can't be world champion, but this proved that she can maybe win the IC title, something like that. Because that gala match was hella thrown together that they did. You had the real El Grande Americano and the fake El Grande get into it, which they keep doing this. I know they haven't. Are they having a one on? I don't know if they're having a one-on-one match or if they're both involved in the gauntlet match next week at or in 2 weeks at the AAA thing. I'll probably tune into that episode to see the real El Grande, which is Gable. But then the original El Grande, he ended up beating a rival in a match. It was super entertaining. Two fake luchadors, but I enjoyed the match. El Grande and the original getting the win made the most sense. Even though he was going 1-on-3, made him look hella strong. For just like, okay, so it's the original gonna win. Like that was just interesting to me. You made him look hella strong. Yeah, live till Raquel. Oh, even though you lost the world title, you can go out to the IC chamber. You can go out to the IC title. Like, actually, that makes sense because that's what I was saying. They could have did something like that with Ivy now. So it's like that's cool, but it's like this is hella thrown together. Like Raquel should have came out. She could have came out there and said something to AJ Lee. Got the Bella Twins there. None of them said nothing. I know they're not in the match, but it's like, what did you bring Brie back for? I know they'll probably go after the tag titles, but we haven't seen them in a minute. And then Finn telling Dominic that him and JD are cheer for him, but they're not going to help him in the match, which that was the case in their match later in the night. Because when the match happened, well, the other stuff happened. I'll get back to that. But yeah, that was the case. I'll get to it now. And then Danhausen cursed Dominic, which was hella funny. I enjoyed that segment. I'm not a fan of Danhausen, but that was entertaining. Then Dominic ended up losing to Penta for the IC championship. And Penta's the new IC champion. The best moment of Raw. I enjoyed that. That could potentially be the match of the week, depending on how the rest of the week goes. We're just 2 days in, but I don't think any other match is going to be able to top that. Maybe the MJF and Kevin Knight match on Dynamite this Wednesday. Well, yeah, tomorrow. So that could be entertaining. And Avengers Day is on Saturday. So maybe NXT have something that tops that, but that match was heavily entertaining. And so we'll see what happens there. But I'm glad that Penta won, got his first championship in WWE. So, what else happened on Raw? Lyra and Bailey once again throwing together a segment that didn't make sense to me. Bailey and Lyra's like, I feel bad you missed WrestleMania last year. I want you to get a title. At least you got to the IC title. Now that Lyra has it, it's Lyra, now that AJ has the title, Lyra can go after the IC title again. And she's like, Bailey's like, how about you go after it too? So y'all want a triple threat match for the IC championship where y'all go after the tag titles. Y'all are a tag team for a reason. Somebody please tell me how that makes sense. If you're a tag team, why would you want to fight in a triple threat match for the IC championship where you can get the tag titles? Understand the irresistible forces. They're both dominant women. But wouldn't you want, if y'all both want a Mania match, go after the tag titles, not the IC title? Tell me I'm not losing my mind, because that segment was hella weird to me. I get they don't feel like a tag team, but if they keep interacting with each other, it's like, and they keep having tag matches. I know they lost their last one, but why would Lyra be like, oh, you got to the IC title so you can get a Mania match? You don't want a Mania match yourself? It's the biggest event of the year. And now you're in a gauntlet match where only one of y'all has the chance to win. So you didn't even accomplish your goal. So I don't know that's hella weird to me. Rusev called out Oba. They're gonna have a match next week. That's gonna be solid. I've been waiting on this. I felt like this is something that Oba should have did. Him and Rusev, they should have been his first feud, because I don't like them beating up on jobbers. Like, put Oba against Rusev, had a big dudes go at it, have Oba go over. Like, Rusev, he ain't really doing nothing. Like, some people said they don't see Rusev as a threat. I don't care what you see him as. He's still a big dude for Oba to take on, instead of him beating up on Kit Wilson like we're supposed to be. Like, yes, Kit Wilson, he's entertaining. Yes, The Miz is entertaining. But beating The Miz in 2026 doesn't do anything for you, because they haven't used him well the last few years. Beating Kit Wilson, that don't do anything for anybody unless you're in a tag team. But Ellen Prince is injured. And so I like the promo they had. I think the match is going to be good. That was a good face-off. That Another part of Raw I enjoyed. Then the last thing not this wrong. No women's matches. Ooh, good point. That's a good point. I don't know if you was in here earlier when I said they should have did Stephanie versus Ivy now, so Ivy now would have a reason to be in the gauntlet match. It could have been like Ivy now loses, but it could have been like, oh, I competed with the world champion, had her on the ropes for like 8 minutes, ended up losing, but I competed with the world champion. I feel like I can go after the IC title. They should have did like the fact that there were no women's matches is egregious. Yeah, but I was said that earlier. But yeah, no women's matches is crazy. That I don't know what they were thinking there. All right, next last thing I'm gonna address about Raw since I've been talking about it the last 10 minutes. Jimmy Uso versus Austin Theory. I'm glad that the Usos are back. Favorite tag team all the time. I like Austin Theory as well. You should have had a clean. You should have let Theory pin Jimmy Uso to keep building to the story. I hate the no DQ finishes with the Vision that continues to happen. Oh yeah, I've seen that sign. It's not even disrespectful. I don't know why they took the sign away. But the Vision and the no contest DQ finishes, it has to stop. Just have a clean winner. If you want to build a story and have a reason for why the Vision is going after the tag titles, because I don't know, I'm assuming plans change due to the injuries. Have Theory get the win. Have Theory beat Jimmy, then they attack him post match because of what they did earlier, because of what he did earlier, because he had took out both of the Vision members. So then that's when Jay can come back after the match and save his brother, and then Jay can have a match with Logan Paul, and they got good chemistry with each other. Then you can have Jay get the win, and then that way they're 1-1 versus each other. Then there's more reason to keep building this story between the Usos and the Vision, because then you could interchange it as well. So, like the no contest, the DQ finishes with the Vision, and it's mainly the Vision, whether it's middle of the show, beginning of the show, start of the show, after the show, any match they have, it's a no contest, a DQ finish, or somebody interfering. Like, just have them get a clean win. You want to build them up as a heel faction? You have Logan Paul has the most heat in the company right now. You could disguise him as a referee, have a ref bump, disguise him as a referee. Nobody knows it, and then he counts to 1, 2, 3, and Theory gets the win. And then he just rushes out of the ring and runs backstage, and everybody is confused. Like, I don't think it's that hard to book the Vision as dominant heels. But I think with the injuries definitely mess things up. But it's still certain things they do where it's like, man, just have it end like this, or just do these small little things. Because even if you want the interference with the Vision, cool, I get it. You need heat for that heel faction. But there's certain things I just can't buy into with the Vision. But yeah, with the injuries, that messed everything up. Seth, it's either him or LA Knight versus Brock. I have no clue. LA Knight makes the most sense because he kidnapped Paul Heyman. But yeah, appreciate it. I think they did it one time with Drew, I think. Was it Drew? No, it was CM Punk. Remember when CM Punk did it with Drew McIntyre? They did it with CM Punk, but they revealed it was CM Punk. With Logan, with him being the heel that he is, because you're not supposed to like him. If he came out as a ref, counted super fast, and just ran to the back without anybody seeing his face, that'd be way different. Like, it wouldn't be like, it'd be similar to the Punk thing, but it'd be different because Punk was a face at the time. So then a heel doing it and not showing his face, that becomes a cool moment. So this over Miss Mania, I don't know. We'll see about that. He could. It's a possibility, unless. Oh, that's actually a good question. I got to think about that. I'm gonna make a short about that after this podcast episode. I'm gonna move on to the next topic, but I'm gonna make a short about that when I get done with this, either tonight or tomorrow morning. Because that's a good question. Because I have no idea. All right. All right. Since we're here, injury report for players who are currently out. Obviously, Aaliyah Boston is out for Unrivaled. She's out for the playoffs, and the Phantom just advanced to the finals, so that sucks. But yeah, prayers up to everybody on the injury report. But Aaliyah Boston, that's a tough one because the Phantom, I feel they didn't miss her last night. The game was definitely played a bit different with her not being there. But man, Queen Aminata is still injured for from AEW. She's been out for a minute. I don't know when she's coming back. I know we talked about her last stream. I think with the family we talked about Queen Aminata. When she does return, I don't know what she does because I feel like she could have been a good TBS champion. Roxanne Perez, she just recently had surgery. I forgot what injury she had, but that that sucks. They weren't really using her right anyways, putting her with the Judgment Day and not doing anything. The Dom story didn't go anywhere. So Dom and Liv just back cool. So that was pointless. Matt Waldron for the Padres. He's out with a lower body injury, out for at least a month. Luckily, the MLB season is just still in spring training, so the regular season ain't got started yet. I forgot when the regular season started actually, but it's coming up soon. I agree with that. Perez will be a great IC champion, in my opinion. Austin Peterson for the Guardians, he has a tricep strain. He's out for 6 to 8 weeks. So that might bleed into the start of the MLB season. I gotta see when, because I don't know what day the MLB season starts. Oh, it starts this month. Starts on the 25th. So, or the 25th is that's opening night. Yeah, start on the 25th. So some of these injuries are going to bleed into the start of the regular season, but some of these guys still be back around April, so it won't be like super late into the season, which is good. Corbin Carroll, he also has for the Diamondbacks, he got a hand injury. He's out for about 3 to 4 weeks, so he should be back by the start of the season, probably around 10 games into the season. Won't be nothing super crazy. MLB season is long, so he won't miss much action. So we'll see where that goes. For the NHL, Patrick Lane is still out for the Canadians, but he's expected to return in about 2 weeks. His suspected return date is March 14th, so they can get him back. That'll be great for them. Wyatt Kaiser for the Blackhawks is supposed to be back in 3 days. He's had a lower back injury, so we'll see what happens with that and how he's feeling in the next few days. Then like Melez for the Bruins, he's out with a season-ending shoulder injury, so that sucks. So prayers up to him. So then, and the NHL playoffs is coming up in just a few months, just a couple of months actually. So, because the season is almost over. So then NHL playoffs gonna be starting super soon. So that sucks for the Bruins and their potential push. Norman Powell, he's week to week for the Miami Heat. Norman Powell, he's been great this season, was finally an all-star, well-deserved, but the Heat going to be missing him, and that play-in push is going to be harder to make with him being out. So hopefully it don't last too long, but we'll see. As I mentioned earlier when talking about Wemby, we'll talk about the NBA in general. Steph Curry is out. He's going to be reevaluated again in 10 days. So he's going to be out even longer, which sucks because he was having a really good season. But the Warriors still struggle without him. Just will lead to the Clippers. Pies has been super inconsistent. So the Warriors can't find anything that's super consistent. And especially with Steph out, like Steph is really the backbone of this team, which is obvious. But it's like, man, another 10 days, that just sucks for the Warriors and their fans. But another fan base that might be happy because their superstar could be coming back. Jason Tatum for the Celtics, he started practicing in 5-on-5s, and so he might be returning soon. So Tatum is going to be back soon. We're going to see what happens with that. It seems like he's going to play this season, which many people didn't expect. Many people thought he would be out all season, so we'll see if that's the case. But yeah, Tatum, glad the recovery went well. Glad he'll be able to come back. I hope he's not rushing him back. I hope the doctors completely cleared him before he does come back if he is returning this Friday. But I will be excited to see Jason Tatum playing basketball again. And if he is active and healthy, I think the Celtics could truly win it all, led behind Tatum, led behind Tatum and Brown. And Tatum could play the two if the Browns won since he's coming back from injury. All right. He said, well, I catch up to the comments at the end of it. Oh, are we buying this? Taylor Green, a quarterback that when he was at Boise State for a few years, then he went to Arkansas. Obviously, the draft combine is going on as the draft is either next month or in 2 months, but we'll see. But yeah, Taylor Green, is he a great athlete? Is he a great quarterback? Or is he both? We'll see. It's a lot of talk. We've seen quarterbacks like Taylor Green in the past. We've seen the Justin Fields, Anthony Richardson archetypes. I think if he goes too high based off of what he did in the combine, then hey, let's address what he did in the combine because what he did was very impressive. He had a 4.3 40-yard dash, which is the second fastest time ever recorded by a quarterback in the NFL draft combine. Had a vertical jump of 43.5. Super impressive. Had a board jump of 11 feet 2 inches. Like all of these stats are super impressive. He's one of, if not the most athletic quarterback in this year's NFL draft. But how good of a quarterback can he be? He spent 5 years in college, really 4 playing football because the first year he was a red shirt. So we're not counting that. He played 2 games and he came in like end of the game. So that first year we're not counting. But the seasons following that, we just counting the 4 years when he was a starter. The 2 at Boise. He was at Boise State and Boise State for 2 of them. Arkansas for the other 2. He had 3 seasons with a 60 plus completion percentage. Only 1 season with 3,000 passing yards, and only 1 other season with over 2,500 passing yards. But he had 59 total touchdowns, 35 total interceptions. Well, he had 3 seasons with at least 500 rushing yards, and each season he had 8 or more rushing touchdowns. So he had which accounted for 35 total rushing touchdowns, which is super great. That's impressive. Like Taylor Green, he's nice. I enjoyed watching him. I seen what he did at Boise State, seeing what he did at Arkansas. He's fun to watch. He's a dynamic quarterback. But because of these combine stats, because of the college stats, along with the rushing yards, like that passing may be by luck because his passing isn't bad, but some of that stuff could be overlooked because of what he did in the combine and what he did throughout these last few seasons. So the reason why I mentioned Justin Fields and Anthony Richardson is because this is the type of quarterback he feels like to me. When they were super electric in college, fun to watch, could run like nobody else, fast as hell. And then they weren't the greatest passers. I think Taylor Green's a solid passer. But can he, if he gets drafted to a certain, I'm trying to see who's a high. Let's just say the Dolphins, for example. If he goes to a team like the Dolphins who are looking to get rid of Tua, they don't really believe in him, that's a valid crit. Tua has his valid criticisms, which I'm not going to really get into Tua too much. But if he goes to a team high like that, then he's going to be that Justin Fields, that Anthony Richardson, where a team is rushing him into something that he's not ready for yet. Because I think when Justin Fields, when he was on the Bears, he was good. He was fun to watch in college. I don't think he was ready yet, and he didn't have a backup to sit behind. Anthony Richardson ended up getting benched because he didn't have anybody to sit behind when he first got started. He does now, which is good for him. But then he also came out and said, "I was tired. That's why he subbed himself out." You can't say that. That's the last thing you can say. Justin Fields can't do that either. So that's a word of advice to any quarterback or any player in general. You can't say that. "Oh, I was tired, so I subbed myself out." You can't say that. And that's one of the wildest things you can say. But the reason why I think he could be in that tier of a Fields or Anthony Richardson is because these combine stats, they look really impressive. And the rushing yards and the rushing stats he had throughout college, teams are salivating at stuff like that. Some teams would love to take a chance on a guy like a Tyler Green just because of how athletic he is, because he's a really good athlete. Like, there is no denying that. But I could see teams potentially taking him high, not first round high. I don't think nobody is crazy enough to do that. But I did see somebody say they would take him first, which is absolutely wild. I forget who said that, but I seen a post that was talking about guys who would go first instead of Mendoza. I was like, the Raiders need a quarterback, and Mendoza's the perfect quarterback. He just won the Heisman, so why would they not take him? But with that being said, Tylen Green, I think, like I said, if he goes to a team like the Dolphins, it will suck because they'll be forcing him into a role he's not ready for. When Justin Fields got to the Steelers, he was still Justin Fields, but he played a little bit better and he won more games because he was in a better situation. And I think he understood the game better at that point. Obviously, better coaching helps, but I think he made less mistakes when playing with the Steelers, and it was just a mental thing. Like some mistakes you make are just mental things. So he was able to make less mistakes when playing with the Steelers because he obviously then he sat behind Russ for the rest of the season, but they still used him in special plays, special packages. And I felt like that was his best season, his best 6 game stretch when they went 4-2. They were winning games. He was making less mistakes. He might not have had the most impressive stats, but he was really solid for that time. And that's what I liked about Justin Fields that season. Anthony Richardson, it's the reason why they went out and got Daniel Jones, who's a veteran quarterback. Well, yes, he didn't have much success in New York, but he did lead them to the playoffs once. He did have a couple of seasons where it's like, oh, maybe he could be something more. So I think like a team, let's say Aaron Rodgers comes back for another season, because I don't know if he retired yet. If the Steelers, if the Steelers wanted, if the Steelers bring back Rodgers for a season and they draft Tylen Green and have him develop under Rodgers for a year, then okay, I'm like, this makes sense because he can develop behind Rodgers. He can learn from him. And obviously he's an athletic quarterback, but I feel like there's still things he can learn, and he has to be a backup his first year. I like Tylen Green. Like I said, I watched him at Boise State. I watched him at Arkansas. I enjoy watching him in college. He's super fun to watch. He's a good player, but what the team he goes to is going to determine a lot. Like he can't go to a team like the Dolphins who are in serious need of a quarterback. The Dolphins would take him and play him, and even if they didn't, he's not the guy. Tua's not the guy you need mentoring other guys. Like you're not going to learn anything from Tua. Yeah, you're not learning anything from Tua. That's all I can say. Like what can he possibly learn from Tua? Because we haven't, like what we've seen from Tua, we haven't seen any progression since that one season they went to the playoffs. It hasn't been anything since that. So Tylen Green, it's gonna come down to the situation, which I think Mendoza, it's like I really like Mendoza, but the Raiders is such a weird situation because Ashton Jeanty damn near had 1,000 yards, one of the worst O lines. I don't know how we did that. So they need O line depth, and once you get Mendoza, I would go all in on linemen in that draft if I'm the Raiders. I would obviously try to sign a few. You're in Las Vegas, so I know you got money, but they don't have playoff success, so it's going to be hard to convince guys to be like, oh yeah, let's buy in. But they have a nice future if they get Mendoza to pair along with Brock Bowers, Ashton Jeanty. I think people could buy in to being in Las Vegas with those two. But it's like Tylen Green. It's like when you think of the teams that need quarterbacks, like this is a weak quarterback class. Like that's especially with Dante Moore being gone. The Jets, I forget what pick they have, but if they take Tylen Green, let's just say they take him because of his athleticism. Is Tylen Green starting immediately if he goes to the Jets? I feel like he would, which I don't think is a good thing for Tylen Green because you're throwing him into a shitty situation. I know Brees Hall just got franchise tagged, but aside from that, then you still got Garrett Wilson who led your team in receiving yards for like 395, and he missed like 8 games due to injury. So it's like when the Jets, I wouldn't draft the Jets. If I'm the Jets, I'm not drafting a quarterback because you have other things you need to worry about. Like I forget who the Jets quarterback is now. Like obviously you have Fields, but the Jets, we know you can't develop anything. So the Jets need other stuff before they try to get anything, in my opinion. Like where does Tylen Green go? I don't know. I hope he goes later in the draft for a team that can develop him and have him as a backup for a year or two. Then by that third year, then he's starting and he can feel comfortable and he'll be really solid. I really hope he doesn't go high because of how athletic he is, because he is a great athlete. I think he's definitely a great athlete. To answer my question, is he a great quarterback? And he's a solid quarterback. He had a solid college career. But I think he needs to be a backup for a couple of years because I think that'll be best for his development. Like Mendoza, I think it's the only guy, and the only quarterback that I think can start right away. So Talon Green, I like him, but I think he needs to be a backup for a couple of years before he starts. Let me know what y'all think about Talon Green. All right. All right, PBA Pete Weber Classic. This took place on Sunday. Entertaining. Just a reminder that I'll be doing PBA coverage every week throughout the season. Um, okay, I just got something weird, but okay, my bad. Thrown off. Shouldn't check my phone while doing the podcast. That was weird. Nothing serious. It was just something really weird. But PBA Pete Weber Missouri Classic. Shout out Pete Weber, one of the greatest bowlers of all time. First matchup was Matt Russo, the 5 seed. Obviously, each tournament is a step ladder. Had Matt Russo as the Matt Russo taking on Hayden Stipch. I said that wrong, but Hayden got behind early and wasn't really able to recover. This was the closest matchup of the day, ironically, and it was I put the wrong thing, but it was one of the closest. It was the closest matchup of the day. Hayden just got behind early and wasn't able to recover from that point on. So that was just unfortunate because if he was able, the way he played throughout the the fourth to final frame, if he played like that in those first 3 frames, this would have been way more interesting. It came down to the wire. It was only decided by 35 points, so it wasn't nothing crazy. Like in bowling terms, that's not a blowout. That's actually relatively close. So Matt Russo, he did end up winning, but this is definitely his closest matchup. And then Matt Russo won the next matchup. He would struggle taking on Tom Larson, the 3 seed. Tom Larson had a solid game. He really controlled the pace of the matchup. He didn't struggle at all. Then Matt Russo, he bowled under 200 after just bowling for 238. He had a 191 in this matchup, which was unfortunate. So, yeah, he ended up losing there. So then Tom Larson moves up the step ladder. So we don't get the story of last week when Brandon Bonta moved up each part of the step ladder in the PBA Players Championship from last week. So we aren't getting that story of the 5 seed going all the way to the end and winning it. But then you got Graham 5 taking on Thomas Larson. This was the second closest matchup of the day, I think. Yeah, because this was decided by 33. Actually, this was the closest matchup. This was the most competitive one because this was Graham 5. He was trying to get his get back from last week when losing to Brandon Bonta in the finals of the PBA Players Championship. Obviously, he couldn't get his rematch, but he wanted to win the tournament. He wanted to get the win here because he was super close to winning last week, wasn't able to do so because Brandon Bonta bowled for 300. So when a guy bowls for 300 and you can't match that, it's like, and he played well last week too. He just couldn't match Brandon Bonta going for 300. With just nothing. Like losing to a guy that went for 300, it's like, damn, not much more I could do because I still had a good game. But Graham 5, he could really, Thomas Larson, he calls himself. It was the second frame. Second frame was really bad because he got a split. He didn't even get a split. He got an 8-pin first, and then the curve on the ball was super weird for that second roll, and he only got 1 pin when he easily could have got both of them. But he curved it the wrong way, only got 1 pin. Then he wasn't able to recover from that. And then frame 5 and 7 also had 9 pins there. Wasn't able to get a strike on those. Like I said, that second frame really that haunted him for the rest of the game. Then the 5th frame, it was like, man. And each of these frames that he struggled on, Graham 5 was able to strike on and continue the momentum. And when Graham 5 didn't get a strike, it was like he's already ahead at this point. So it really, truly didn't matter. But it was the second frame, like I said, that will hunt Thomas Larson throughout this matchup. And then Graham 5 will win 268 to 235, the actual closest matchup. I said the first one was the closest with Russo and Hayden, but that wasn't the closest. This was actually the closest matchup, being decided by 33 points. Then you get to the final matchup for the PBA Tour title to determine the winner of the 2026 PBA Pete Weber Missouri Classic. Had Graham 5 to 2 seed taking on Justin Knowles to 1 seed. The two guys they finished top two. So, but a surprisingly bad start for Justin Knowles. Some that Justin Knowles, my favorite bowler. So this was a really bad start for him and a bad game. Like I've never seen him struggle like this. Like I've seen him lose before. Like seeing your favorite athlete lose, like that's normal. But the way that he struggled, like it just seemed off. Like I don't know what it was, but he struggled heavily. Like he ended up finishing with a 196. He was the second person of the day to bowl for under 200. And then Graham 5 finished with a 258, which was 10 points less than the previous game. But he won this one fairly easily. And then that really bad start cost him just not just a bad start, but a bad game overall, finishing on 196. And Graham 5 ended up winning to win his third PBA Tour title after losing the previous week in the PBA Players Championship Finals to Brandon Bonta. So he's been in back-to-back finals, won, lost last week, won this week. So that's great for him. So congratulations to winning his third tour title. And so he's going to be. So yeah, I'm happy for him. Even my favorite guy lost, but it is what it is. He struggled. Grand 5, he earned it. He got the win. So didn't get the same stories last week. I think this was a disappointing week because these games weren't really close. You had two games that weren't close at all. You had two close games with the first matchup and the third matchup. With the second matchup and the championship game, it was like it wasn't close. It was really no drama aside from the struggles of the two guys that lost. But it's like both two dudes going for under 200. Like that's disappointing. The PBA on CW debut was amazing, which I talked about last Tuesday. Like it went really well. But this week was rough. This was a rough week. But like I said, for the PBA, each tournament they have for the coming weeks, like I did last weekend, this week, will be covered on the podcast episode. It's usually going to be at the beginning. It's usually going to start at the 10-minute mark. I just started it differently just because sometimes I might change it up. I'm going to get back to the regular schedule on Thursday for the podcast. So Thursday, Thursday I'm going to just start with Dynamite. I started with the hot take this week. Now, if y'all have any hot takes, I will respond to it in the comments. So if y'all have any hot takes, I'll respond to it in the coming weeks. I do one hot take per week, which was the title of this video, Wemby being the best player in the NBA. That was the hot take for this week. So y'all have any hot takes, comment them right now. I will save them for the upcoming weeks. So if I don't respond to it, that just means somebody else sent me theirs first. So make sure y'all send me theirs, send me yours, so I have a new hot take for every week. So if it's something that I say, or if it's something I find interesting, I might save it. Like DT, I know you left no comments. So if any of these pop out to me, that could be a hot take. I might use that for a later segment in the upcoming weeks. So I might not reply to it today or tomorrow, but I'm gonna reply to every one hot take per week. So just send those. Feel free to send any hot takes y'all have. But yeah, back to the PBA. The Pete Weber Missouri Classic came down. Well, it didn't really come down. It came down to Grand 5 Justin Knowles, but the game wasn't close. So it wasn't close at all. So Grand 5 ended up winning that with ease. So it is what it is. But now I'm going to move into the last segment, which is usually the first segment. Like I said, I changed it up for this week, so you never know what to expect. And I know it's been a lot of people in and out the chat. So make sure y'all typing in the chat if y'all are here. A shout out to the 3 people that have typed. I know Blackout was in here earlier. DT always commenting on the Tuesday Pod episodes. Western Plays, shout out to you. So anybody that's commenting, I will shout you out. But now we're going to move to Zip's update, which is just me talking about University of Akron sports and how they're doing. And so I'm going to talk about the women's lacrosse team first, since they were successful going 2-0. The men's basketball team was successful too. Women's, not so much. But the women's lacrosse team had a 17-4 win over Radford. Really great. Sienna Hitchcliffe, she had 6 goals. Continuing her dominant season. Heather Carey, she had 5 goals with that in that win. Easy win for them. I was the cameraman for this game, so this was cool to watch. They was dominating. I really enjoyed it. And so So yeah, they was dominating in this game. For Radford, they had four different women score goals. One woman per goal, but they failed to score in the third and fourth quarters. So I had fun with this game because I was cameraman for it. So there was really no drama in this. Akron won pretty easily. So and then they had a 6-5 win versus Xavier. This was a road game, so I wasn't able to work this one. This was super close. Sienna Hitchcliffe, she led the team once again um, with 3 goals. Kellen Fletcher, she finished with 1 goal and 2 assists. And so that was a great. She had a really good game. Then meanwhile for Xavier, uh, Brinley Hodge and Samantha Barlow, they both had 2 goals apiece, and Xavier finished with just 1 assist as a team, which is going to be hard to win in lacrosse with finishing with just 1 assist. But nobody scored in the fourth quarter, which was like great for Akron, not so good for Xavier because Xavier wanted to tie it and send it to overtime, weren't able to, but Akron didn't score. Yeah, neither team scored, so just a really great defense by both sides, not allowing either team to score in the fourth quarter, but it paid off in a win for Akron. So that's great. Meanwhile, for keeping it positive, on the positive note, for the men's basketball team, they're now women's lacrosse, Akron women's lacrosse team is 5-1 on the season. The men's basketball team is now 24-5 after going 2-0 this week. Won a game by 14 points versus Buffalo, where Akron's bench scored 31 points. Evan Mahaffey started that day. He had 20 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals on 8 of 12 from the field. Um, Allows, he had 19 points and 10 rebounds. And Tavari Johnson got to the line 11 times, making 11 free throws. Now, y'all worked this game too. Ryan Sable was going crazy for Buffalo. He had 26 points with 6 threes. And then meanwhile, Breezy, he shot 9 of 10 from the free throw line with 25 points. But the Buffalo team, they had more turnovers than assists and shot 27% from three, which ended up costing them this game. It was hella fouls. This game was long as hell. I didn't like it. Like I had to work. And you can go to overtime, but I was like, man, it's a long ass day of work. And like it felt longer than the typical game for a game that was decided by 14 points. But I still got paid, so it is what it is. For anybody wondering what I do, I'm a camera operator, so that's cool. Then Akron, they defeated Kent State 92-70. Akron's bench scored 53 points, most dominant game the Akron bench has had all season. So they dominated both halves, didn't really struggle. Mahaffey, he had 11 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals. Lyles wasn't great with just 5 points on 2 of 7 field goal, 4 turnovers. Like I was like, man. But then you had Medley go, and then meanwhile for Kent State, you had Medley go to a 9, Gillespie go 3 of 15. They shot 45% from the free throw line, which was really bad. Only had one player with over 4 rebounds, which was Gillespie, who had struggled shooting, but he had 8 rebounds. So Akron, they dominated that second game. The first game they won by 14, a good margin, but they won 15, but they won twice this week. So they're now 2-0. Well, they're now 24-5 on the season. So Akron's men's basketball team continues to rise. Meanwhile, the women's team continues to struggle. They're now 7-22 on the season. They lost badly to Ball State, 88-55. Akron didn't get much bench reduction, shooting just 14% from 3-point range. Only able to get 12 free throw attempts. They did make 9 of them. McGuff, she had 12 points. She was the leading scorer, but yeah. You have Ball State. They played really well, even though they shot 26% from 3. Which isn't good. They were still better than what Akron did. They got to the line 23 times. So, again, they being able to get to the line, it was a 30-point game. So, it really didn't come down to free throws or free throw margin. But they had better bench production than Akron, and they had 3 women with double-digit rebounds, which is fantastic. Then Akron lost 74-56 to Miami, Ohio, when Akron had 3 women score 10-plus points. Along with 5+ rebounds, had 10 more turnovers than assists. only 3 free throw attempts in a game, made 2, which is like, okay, you made 2 or 3, but how the hell do you get 3 free throw attempts in a basketball game? So I don't like blaming refs, especially in blowouts, but it's like 3 free throw attempts in 40 minutes of basketball just sounds crazy to me. But it's like Miami, Ohio didn't get that much more free throws. They only shot 14, which is not crazy. It's still more, but 14 isn't crazy for a basketball game. They had 10 steals, only 10 team fouls, and they shot 9% better from the field than what Akron did. So Miami, Ohio wins their 4th straight game. Akron continues to lose. They're now 7-22 on the season. So that's unfortunate, but not much for Zip's update because it's a pretty standard week. So it is what it is. But let me go. That your hot take is Evans. I say Evans is going to be treated like Kofi, even though he's better than that. I think he might get treated better than Kofi. Well, I'm going to actually don't say nothing. I'm going to say that the stuff you said about Javon, I'm going to say that for one of these. Well, I already got 2 hot takes. Got one for next week and the one for the week after that. So I'm going to screenshot this hot take and save it for 3 weeks. Just like I said, 1 hot take per week. So I won't forget about it. But thank you, DT. So I'm going to definitely save that for in the next 3 weeks. Yeah, Seth Rollins, he got 4. I know they all go to Seth's school, so good luck to those guys in Seth's school. I'm not gonna hate on nobody grinding, trying to get their foot on the door. It's just it don't make sense to do this if they won't get in the ring. Like I know they training, taking bumps, but I don't think you're trying to put them in the ring. So I find this really stupid. Like to have them keep getting involved. Like shout out to them, they grinding. I hope they get where they want to be, no matter what company they go to. Shout out Seth for working with them because not a lot of people will do that. But I think it's dumb to have them involved in the story at this point. Like now that Seth is back, I don't think you need them. Said Roxanne. Then there was one more thing you said about Roxanne. Oh, Roxanne. Yeah, mic work. I think the mic work can improve. Roxanne needs to be annoying. Like I feel like she has. Like I feel like some people find her voice annoying, which is a good thing for her being a heel. I think she's going to be a mid-carder at best, which is fine for some people. She might win 1 world championship, but if she's a mid-carder at best, then I'm fine with that because not everybody can be at the main event. Like I like Roxanne personally, but I think her, like the size, it's not really that because when you think about size, think about Alexa Bliss, think about Liv Morgan. Like Liv Morgan had the grind, but think about Liv Morgan's promo skills now. Like she's not that much taller than Roxanne. Think about Alexa Bliss's promo skills in 2018 versus Nia Jax. Like even though the story was kind of stupid, the small woman making the big woman cry, Alexa Bliss has always been cold on the mic. Like I don't think Roxanne has that. Like she can go in the ring, but what's really Roxanne's character? What makes her the prodigy? Like tell us. I'm not telling you to act. I'm not asking you, DT. I'm saying WWE got to let us know why is she the prodigy. Like we know why Alexa Bliss was the goddess. We know that. Like she could be presented better. I think like once she gets back and you can finish the Judgment Day stuff, I think if Raquel would have won, you got an easy story there if Raquel would have beat Liv, then you had the story of, oh, is Roxanne a special guest referee? Does she want the title now? Like if Raquel would have beat Stephanie, you had like 3 different ways to go with Roxanne. She could have cost Liv or Raquel. She could have been added to the match, making it a triple threat. She could have been the special guest referee. Like it was so many things they could have did at WrestleMania specifically because it's already such a big story. Like it's crazy. Yeah, it is. It is funny. I think Tiffany needs to go back to being a heel, and she'll be perfect in my opinion. She's great in ring. She had like her character, it's all right, but I think once she can't turn her heel, and now she just came back. So her being a face is fine. I'm actually enjoying her right now, but I think when it's all said, well, like that, she definitely got to go back to being a heel at some point. Essentially, yeah, but I also think her promo skills is just not up to par for like Alexa Bliss. She's small too, but it worked because she had the promo skills, she had the character, like she had all of that. Like why is Roxanne the prodigy? Why is she like that's what I'm saying. But yeah, Tiffany, I'm liking her right now. I do think she needs to go back to being a heel at some point. I don't got to be like now, but eventually she does have to be a heel again. I feel the same about Rhea Ripley. But with that being said, I'm gonna cap it off here. Leave a like on the live, subscribe to the channel, comment your thoughts, and share for others to see.